Welcome to the Unlocking Senior Resources podcast by Leave the Key. I'm Larry Wagner, and I've spent 30 years working with seniors, where I was a certified senior advisor, and the last 15 years in the home buying industry as a certified senior transition specialist, where I specialize in dealing with seniors going through a transition in their lives. This podcast is for seniors, those with seniors they love, and people who work in the senior community. In each episode, we bring on a guest who works to improve the lives of seniors. This podcast is your key to unlocking senior resources. Hello. Today we're here with Samantha Lawson from YHP Cares. Hello, Samantha.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Larry.
How are you today?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here, and it's a beautiful day finally.
Finally. It is April. This is not going to be shown in April, posted in April, but it's April now, and we're having February weather so far.
Yes.
So, but let's spend a little time talking about you. You mentioned you're with YHP Cares. I'll ask about, basically, first, what is YHP Cares?
So YHP Cares is what New York State would describe as a service coordination agency. And basically what that is we do case management for clients over 18 that want to stay in the community and not be in a nursing home. They might have traumatic brain injury. They might have other serious health issues, and they technically would qualify for nursing level care, but they're more like, I want to be with my friends and family. So yeah, that's what we do is under New York State, they have a special program through Medicaid that allows them to do that and get the care that they need right from the comfort of their own home.
Perfect. I have a daughter who's a granddaughter, 3 years old, who's on Medicaid.
Oh, wow.
Due to disabilities. She was born seriously disabled. So question, how did you get from where you started in life to such a business?
Ooh, so if we're talking about the journey, you know what? I'm going to say, honestly, the seed might have been planted when I was a youth. I had a grandfather who suffered from a disease called syringomyelia. And when I was young, he wasn't very mobile. Like he had full command of his mind. He had but no command of his body. Mm-hmm. So
his whole life or later on?
I want to say later on in life. Mm-hmm. I want to say my mom might have been in elementary school when he pretty much lost control of his body. He got injured in the military. That injury, what they say, they have a shrinks or a certain type of growth in their spine, and when that thing ruptures, it kind of sets off the path for this illness. So it's a genetic illness. And he, like I said, he was injured in the military when he was younger, and he was an Air Forceman. My grandma was a nurse at the same Air Force base. That's where they met, at a ball or whatever on base. And so when I was a youth, my grandma, she still was moving and shaking and very involved in church, very involved in the community. And she would want to go to choir rehearsal or whatever. And when I was young, I would sit with him. He was a VA, so that was the max on their home health hours. So sometimes after school, when I was 12, 13, 14, I'd go over there, sit with them, watch TV with them for 2-3 hours, just hang out. If he needed a meal, I'd feed him. And we just talk. So that kind of led to that path of being a caregiver. Right. In a sense. I want to actually till I was 12 because he passed away when I was about 12. So that led me on the path of being a caregiver. And I think that might have planted the seed that, people go through tough things and they need help, but they're still capable of so much. My grandfather was an architect as well, and he could tell you how to build anything, but he couldn't build it himself. So he had to give perfect, and I mean perfect, directions. And it's just amazing, the things he was able to accomplish around his house for neighbors and things of that nature by telling them, hey, do this, do that. And that kind of planted the seed. And then later, I would have to say, my education started to water that seed. And then a friend of mine really kind of fertilized it when I was changing careers from marketing. I'm still in marketing, but I was specifically doing alcohol marketing into what am I going to do next? And they were like, well, you have these degrees in mental health and psychology. Why don't you try this? And, this program's great. I've been doing this for almost 10 years, and you already know a lot about it from being around me. Like you fall right into it, and they just happen to be right. Yeah.
And what degrees do you have in mental health and psychology?
So I have a bachelor's of art in psychology from SUNY Old Westbury, and I have a master's in mental health counseling from CW Post.
Okay. Oh, my wife got a master's
at Post. LIU Post now. I might be
Is that what it
wrong.
is?
Yeah, they changed the name recently.
I didn't know. Well, she went there a long time ago. So,
wow.
So it was CW Post when she went there.
Yeah,
right,
me too.
That's when we got our first cell phone. She was going at night while she was working.
Same. So, oh my gosh.
And she got one of those big cell phones with the antenna you had to pull out because we don't want her driving on the road at night. Right. There's no place to stop on 25A at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night.
Oh, man.
So I remember that. They were very expensive back then for terrible technology, but it was technology.
Listen, the technology still doesn't work over there.
It's true. This North Shore is not great. So you've had a journey. I find when I talk to people, so many of them have had a personal life experience that have gotten them into the senior industry or the healthcare industry in some shape or form. I'm going to say 100% of the time. No one seemed to have just landed here. They went from marketing alcohol, ended up here. Mm-hmm. There was something that got them from the alcohol marketing to here.
Right.
And very interesting. So let's talk about what your company actually does. This is now your company. You own the company.
Yes.
Okay.
I am the president. So I have a marketing agency, a digital marketing agency. And I also have a nonprofit agency called Young Hip Professionals, Inc. And then the marketing agency is called YHP Brand Marketing. Young Hip Professionals, Inc. Yeah. I'm not young, I'm not hip, but I'm a professional. Exactly. You got to be like one of the three. One of the three. Okay. Then I could join. Okay. Yeah. So basically, it was like, all right, you already have like the foundation laid. Right. You just need to get all of your documents and all of your things, this mosaic of education and experience that you have, and put it on paper. And I did that, and I applied, and it was an arduous process. It took like almost a year, maybe a little longer, maybe a little over a year. And I applied, and I got in the waiver. And honestly, it's been amazing. It's been an amazing journey ever since. I had a lot of background in operations and case management and things of that nature. So while I wasn't specifically doing the waiver, I was dealing with people with disabilities, dealing with people that had substance use disorder, dealing with, a lot of people that were transitioning in life and grief counseling and things of that nature. So it was just kind of like, all right, this just makes a lot of sense. Right. So I took that journey, I got through it. I started my business. It was slow getting clients. And when was this? I would have to say this was probably like 2022. Okay. And so it was slow at the beginning. Shocking. Yeah, it was. That's the way business starts. Super slow. And I'm not used to that level of slow because one of the things that I've always done is I've always kept strong ties to the community. Right. So me getting referrals in business and saying, hey, I'm doing this. And everybody's like, all right, we're going with what you're doing. What are you doing? But a lot of people did not understand or necessarily need it, especially in the demographic I was dealing with. So now I've had to change like my language in a sense where I talk to people now about planning the rest of their life. So yeah, you might be my age, you might be a little younger. Some of my clients are younger than me. Right. Some of my clients, they might have had a stroke or something happened in their very young age, and now their whole life has changed. What are you going to do? How are you going to prepare for this? So now it's a lot of like estate planning, life planning, having those conversations, pointing them to the right people, making the right connections, and then going from there. But especially talking about it in regard to their parents. Yes. Yep. So that kind of helped build it up. Having great relationships in the health community. I've met some amazing people along the way, like Britt Lurch, Nicole Christensen, Melanie. Like having those relationships, I was able to build on my business very fast. When I think about it now, I went from having like in the first 6 months once I was approved, having like 2 clients to in the last 6 months having, I think, 22. Wow. Yeah, so like that's a heck of a difference. Yeah, it was insane. I was able to like leave my job. I was able to, just kind of just go out on my own really, really fast. hire my employees and hit the ground running. And it's been going, honestly, amazing.
Right.
Amazing.
Now, you said you have employees. Are you dealing with each of the clients, or you do the intake? What is your role as you're clearly not the CEO and the chief bottle washer. So
because I worked in, going back to my experience in marketing in the alcohol industry, I learned that, you have to use your whole body in a sense. You can't rely on just the head or just the feet or just the legs. Like, you got to make sure you have like a full body. And I realized that as a small business owner, I couldn't be the full body. Like, I needed other pieces of my body, and I had to go find them through my great staff. And I would have to say that in doing that, I was able to make sure that I wasn't the one going out to see clients, because I found that to be kind of a pitfall. Because where do you go when they have a problem? If they don't like you, that's it. They're leaving.
Right.
But if maybe they don't like 3 of your employees, you still got some wiggle room to keep them close. So you have some way to keep them close before they even get to you. So more or less, when a client comes to see me, or comes to talk and get on the waiver or whatever, they deal with me first.
Okay.
Then I let them know right off the bat, hey, I don't see clients. I have, you're going to deal with my intake specialist. They're going to write the service plan for you. And then I'm going to make sure you meet like a service coordinator that you're compatible with. And if you're not feeling them, let me know. I have others. It's all right. And if ultimately you just feel like our agency is for you, listen, it's freedom of choice. You go and I will help you find somebody that you're more compatible with. And that's really how we've been doing things, and it works. And it's like kind of like a barrier. I get to solve all the tough problems, but I also get to have a little distance between myself and the client. And some people would be like, why would you want distance between yourself and the client? Because I'm solving the hard problems.
But you're a business owner. People don't understand.
Right.
You do. I've been in business longer than you're alive. Okay. I'm in business I'm an entrepreneur for 44 years. And I've never had a solo business. I've always had people working for me. I'm excellent at some things, but I'm terrible at other things. And I love your analogies. You used them before now, and you're consistent throughout. Said you want to use the whole body, but your whole body is comprised of many other bodies to make the whole. And entrepreneurs are not ones to give tasks away. And it's a downfall. I am not the best at keeping books and records. Matter of fact, I am awful at it. I'm a house buyer. We buy houses from senior citizens, which is one of the reasons I got involved in the Senior Citizen podcast. But I meet clients, and I have someone on my staff who meets clients. And sometimes they'll meet Chris, and they just want to talk to me. And then he hands them off to me. Sometimes Chris and I would go together, and they just connect with him. So it's nice having more than one person. And I'm never offended, nor is he. Sometimes you just click with somebody, sometimes you don't. And that's life. And sometimes there are tasks you're good at, sometimes there are tasks you're not.
Exactly.
And most importantly, you can't grow your business if you're doing every task.
Exactly.
Even if you're great at them all. Your business is only as big as you are. And you and I are not big people. So we're going to have small businesses. So with that said, you're doing everything right. I'm very impressed with what you're saying. So and the fact that you speak well of your staff.
Thank you.
That's so critical. How many people are on your staff?
So right now there's 5 of us. It's a very diverse staff. I'm really proud of them. They're all hardworking, and they all care. Like there's things that they care about. I'm like, hold on. You got to dial it back. You got to remember, like, you're the service coordinator. Like, we can't overdo it, but we should do everything with love and gratitude and kindness. But we also have to do things within the constraints of the program and the law. So just make sure, like just make sure you're not overdoing it. You know, I know you love the client, but sometimes, especially dealing with clients who might have a traumatic brain injury, establishing boundaries is critical. You know, like I said, I have my master's in mental health counseling, and I'm going to use this analogy because I think someone might understand. You're talking to a counselor, it's very possible that, especially if they're attractive to you, that you could fall in love with them, right? So that counselor has to establish very serious boundaries. And it's to protect the client, most importantly, but it also protects the counselor. So you don't cross lines and do things that might be to the detriment of you, be to the detriment of the client, be to the detriment of the business. So it's always important just to like reinforce that. And you have clients that kind of struggle with boundaries and they struggle with these things, and it actually helps them grow and helps them deal with life on the outside, because some of them are going to work still. Some of them are in the community and they could have like a meltdown or something, and you want to try and mitigate as much of that as possible. And I think overall in the program, there's many different layers to it. That's the goal, is to mitigate things that could happen in the community that could be harmful to the client or harmful to the community, and just give them the best opportunity to have a great life outside of the nursing home. Like still go to their church, or still go to their favorite ballpark, or be able to go to a Knicks game when they want to, or Mets game, like whatever it is that's safe for them to go to. Still have their family and friends come whenever they're available. Right. You know, they're not constrained. So everything that we do is to protect them, to keep them, you know, medically sound, to keep them mentally and emotionally sound. And my staff is just really, really good at keeping those boundaries, but always giving as much as they can within those limitations. And they're just great people. Like I actually like talking to them and communicating with them. I never feel like we just have like this open door policy. Like they can call me all through the night, all through the day. It's just great. That's
my kind of the same thing. It's like we have no hours.
Yeah.
We just work all the time. We deal in the retail universe. Mm-hmm. People call us at 10 o'clock at night. The phone gets answered half the time.
Right.
And sometimes I try to answer after like 7. I try to grab, because the call is to numerous people at one time. And I try to grab it as quickly as possible so they don't. And sometimes I can't grab it fast enough.
Right.
And, it's because they care. They want the business to be successful. We pride ourselves in helping our clients the same way you do. We help them in a different manner, but the attitude's exactly the same. So I very much appreciate the way you talk about yourself and you talk about your staff. And a comment I'll make is a staff can only be as good as the owner of the company.
That is true.
And so for you to have good staff, they have to have a good boss.
Oh, thank you.
So, and I really do believe that. People won't give more typically than you won't give back.
Right.
Most people only give as much as you give, but that's another story. But your staff is giving what is equal to what you're giving.
Yes.
That's perfect. So let me ask you a couple of specific questions. First of all, who's the kind of person? So why is someone reaching out to you? How are they? I don't say how are they finding you? I don't mean in terms of, I was going to say the phone book. Sorry, I'm dating myself. I don't mean in terms of going and finding your company, but as far as they've now had some injury where they need to go on Medicaid, they're going to look for a what?
So a lot of times, like I said, it's like your body. You have all these working parts. So a client, maybe they're considering getting Medicaid because they need more hours of care. Now, let's go back to the person that has a stroke. You have a young person, they have a stroke, and now their life is like totally changed. But they've been in the nursing home a couple months, and they're ready to kind of go home. Like they could handle it at home as long as they have the right care. So a lot of times they'll get connected through the nursing home or through other community advocacy groups like the Suffolk Department of Aging, so forth, so on, Health and Welfare Council. And they'll basically be told, hey, you want to get on Medicaid. These are the steps you need to take. You need to connect with like a estate and planning elder care lawyer. And it's like, elder care, that's for elderly. No, it's for everybody. It's about your care, when you're an elder, but some of us need that a little sooner. Right. So they're the ones that kind of help set you up to get on Medicaid, to help you establish a trust. I mean, you could do it yourself, but it's a lot easier with them. Right. You want to establish a certain type of trust. I don't remember the name off the top of my head.
Special needs trust?
Yes. Special needs trust.
I was a planner.
And you want to establish that, that's in your best interest rather than paying a spin down. Because it allows you to be able to use your money for your needs more so than just giving it away in a sense. And that allows you to qualify to get on Medicaid. Once you're on Medicaid, you'll probably go into a managed long-term care. And not knocking any managed long-term cares, but a lot of times they have like a limited number of hours of care that they can give. So like somebody might need, 15 hours and they're only given 8. So if that's the case and the person really needs that, that's when usually some of them suggest, hey, you should look into this waiver program. you know, you should see about it. They typically can give more hours. So from there, a person like, well, how do I reach the waiver program? And they're like, all right, get with, you know, there's local social workers. There's sometimes a nursing home will do it right away. The elder care attorneys know about the waiver. Or sometimes they look it up online. They'll stumble across my website. But the next step is to call their regional resource development center. And then they do an intake with them. It takes about 6 weeks to get the intake done with them, and then they're given a list of agencies.
Okay, a regional resource development center. Where do I find a regional resource development center?
So every region has one. So like Long Island, it would be Silo. I forget the name of the one in the city because honestly, I only service Long Island right now.
So Silo for Nassau and for Suffolk?
Yes.
Okay.
Self-initiated living options, I believe it stands for.
How would someone know to find them? Only if someone else had told them.
Typically. So there's another program that most nursing homes know about. It's called the Open Doors program. So they actually would route you through the Silo. Like the elder care attorneys, most of them know about it.
Okay.
Suffolk and Nassau Office of Aging knows about it. So it's known, but it's not like a large program. It's not like well known. So you do have to do some research. DSS knows about it. Yeah. So and the MLTCs know about it. So it just really kind of depends on where you are, and then typically you're referred to it.
Right. Okay. Hi, I'm Larry.
And I'm Ben. We're the father and son team of Leave the Key Homebuyers, and we want to buy your house.
We specialize in working with seniors who are transitioning out of their homes, and we understand what you were going through.
So if you're considering selling your home and would like an alternative to the traditional overwhelming process, reach out and see how we can help.
Do you have an outdated home?
No need to update anything.
Have a home that needs repairs?
Don't bother with repairs.
Don't want to take everything with you?
Leave whatever you want behind.
Dreading the headaches that come with agents?
Sell your home without paying a commission.
Dreading prying neighbors, attending open houses, and passing judgment on your home?
No need for public showings.
When you sell to us, you'll have all the certainty of closing on your timeline, not someone else's, and there's absolutely no pressure.
Visit leavethekey.com or call us today for a no-obligation offer at 631-388-7771 if you want to sell your home today.
Because I say this not on every podcast, but on many. Mm-hmm. The older we get, the less capacity we have, but the more complicated life gets. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a paradox. Life should get simpler as we get older. Now, you're not just necessarily talking about older people, but you're talking about younger people with older people problems.
Yes.
And so hopefully the faculties are sharper, but not necessarily, depending on why they're needing care.
Right.
But it's very frustrating. The more of these podcasts I do, the more I realize how much I don't know.
Yes.
And I've dealt with senior in-laws who are elderly. I've gone through both my parents who lived good long lives. Mm-hmm. And I don't know about I know about very little of this stuff. And I did financial planning for clients for 30 years.
Wow.
But I have no idea about half the things I'm hearing. My clients, thank God, didn't call me for Medicaid issues. My clients were retired school teachers back when I dealt with us as a financial advisor. So they had pensions and so on. They went on Medicare, but never Medicaid. But it's a whole nother world.
It is.
It's a whole nother world. And it's so, my granddaughter's on Medicaid. And that was nightmarish getting her on. Mm-hmm. But my daughter dealt with it. I wasn't involved with it. If she asked me for help, I would have done one of these. Go figure it out. I don't know. But I've since gotten involved in it. But that was 3 years ago. In the last 3 years, I've gotten much more involved in the senior community, GPNY, which you just joined. Welcome.
Thank you.
And it's a wonderful organization. And so with that said, it's so complicated. It just frustrates me so. But because of its complication, people like you are in business.
Right.
So thank God.
Yeah, right? Yeah. No, it's true. It is complex. It's not the easiest to find, and there are a lot of like moving parts that you have to do to get in these programs and to get these things or just even know they exist. And, that's unfortunate. And I think a lot of us in this industry have taken on a lot of extra roles to spread the awareness. Like I'm a big community advocate. I'm heavily involved in the community. So I talk about this and I talk about what I do. And I'd like to have more opportunities to talk about this and what I do.
Which is why you wanted to come on this podcast.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, you have a lot of extracurricular activities.
I do.
And awards and so on. Please brag for a moment.
Oh,
I was going to recite them, but I'm telling you to
Start
brag.
with the one you like.
the one I don't even want to. You had a list we spoke about before we turned the cameras on. We spoke, and you had a laundry list of stuff. The one I like, you want me to mention?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. We're talking about that you're going to be a grandmother.
Oh, yeah.
And to me, that's
crazy.
impressive. You were a young mother, raised 3 kids. You've gone through school. You've gone through grad school. You flirted with law school, but it wasn't right for you. Mm-hmm. So you went back for master's elsewhere. And you started your own business, and you've been successful in spite of this young motherhood. Mm-hmm. And so many people get derailed when they become mother at such a young age. And you took it in stride in that. I don't want to discuss the difficulty. It wasn't easy.
At all.
You don't have to tell me that. It's difficult being a parent when you're 30, let alone when you're very young. So with that said, you managed to say, I have this responsibility, but I still have to create a future for me, and I have to create the proper role model for my children, and so on and so forth. And you said you were a 21-year-old.
Yes.
And what does your 21-year-old, does 21, I'll rephrase my question. Does your 21-year-old appreciate? 21, they may not. That's why I asked the question. They were too young to appreciate.
To a degree. I think,
a girl.
Yeah. I think my daughter, we had the privilege of talking to the youth pregnancy advisory board for Suffolk County, and then they wanted us to speak I think it was in her junior year or senior year about what the opportunities are if you're a teen parent and what the opportunities are for your children. So at the time she was speaking, she was getting ready to go to college. She had found out where her options were really high, and thankfully she got into the school she really wanted to go to. She got into SUNY Albany.
Wow.
And
that's one of the good ones.
Yeah. She's studying neurobiology and psychology.
Oh, wow.
And it was kind of like interesting talking to the youth about it. And one thing she said, she was like, as I get older, I realize how crazy it is that my mom was able to do this and get me to this point, and also do everything first, like go to college, do all these steps first so she could tell me what to do. And so I could avoid some of the things that might have, been tough for her.
Right.
So I think she does appreciate that. I think even now that she is becoming a mother, she's married, she's becoming a mother, and she's still in college.
Right.
And she hasn't stopped. So I think that, whether she wants to yell it from the rooftops or not.
She won't give you that satisfaction.
Yeah. Like I said about my, helping my grandfather out. Right. They're just those little seeds that are planted, and you don't realize that they're keeping you going. Yes. So I think that she understands, like, if she can do it, and maybe at times I didn't think she was the best, or I thought she was annoying or whatever, I can definitely do it because I'm cooler and better than her. So like, as long as she maintains that mindset, she'll be fine. My son will be fine, and my baby girl will be fine.
There you go. That's funny you mentioned about role models and your uncle and grandfather and your family and so on. My grandmother lived with us 6 months a year from the time she was about 70 till she was about 80 something.
Wow.
We lived in a 3-bedroom house with 3 kids. So I shared a 10 by 12 bedroom with my brother. And when grandma came, she took my bed and I slept in the playroom. Or I slept in the unfinished basement, the mattress surrounded by my woodworking tools covered in sawdust. But it's just what you did. Your grandma's coming to stay. She would come 3 months with me, 3 months with my mother's sister in Maryland, and 3 with me, with my family. And 3 months back and forth for years, almost a decade. And 67, more than a decade. And it's just the way it was. So now I'm raised that way. When people come stay with me, I don't even think twice about it. It's just, we've had people come. We've had as many as 15 house guests. We don't have 15 beds. People sleep. We're very casual in the way we live. And now we bought a house with an apartment for my wife's parents. They lived in the apartment. Nice. We had a house. My wife's parents since moved out into independent living. And my wife and I are the grandparents living in the apartment. And my daughter and her husband and kids are living in the house. And when she was dating, she told her boyfriends, if we get married, I plan on moving into my parents' house and them living in the apartment, behind the house. That has to be okay with you, or else let's stop dating now. So, I mean, she knew this is the future because she wanted her kids being around grandma and grandpa.
Right.
So as you said, you sow the seeds.
Right.
And sometimes not every seed sprouts.
That's true.
But every seed sprouts. But you know what? It sprouted in your family. It sprouted in my family. And I was an entrepreneur. My son's my business partner, an entrepreneur. Wow. He's the 4th generation entrepreneur in my family, which is very cool. So these things, and my father and I were business partners for 30 years. And my son and I are now business partners. Wow. So it's these life events that you try to have your kids learn from, and you're setting all the right goals. But I've now told you my favorite. Tell me all the things. Brag on yourself a little bit right now.
So I had my last child. She's 14 months now. I had her in January of 2024. And I kind of pretty much took a break. I just worked. I kind of laid low. I did a couple of public speaking events here and there. You know, if someone was like, we don't care that you're pregnant. Are you tired? Do you want to do it? I'd be like, yeah, sure. You know, but I kind of like laid low, traveled a little bit. I think in that year, I might have gone to like 7 different countries. So I just kind of like...
That's laying low?
Yeah, because you know what? I wasn't like out and about. I wasn't doing a bunch of community stuff. I was just kind of focused on myself and my health and what I wanted to do. And so after I had the baby, I got nominated for an award from the Central Nassau Club of the National Association of Negro Business Professional Women for their Sojourner Truth award for Founders Day. I got the Entrepreneurship Award amongst Tracy Edwards was the Sojourner Truth Award winner, which was amazing to be in legal, like in an award ceremony with her. It was crazy. And if you don't know Tracy Edwards, she was the head of the NAACP for Huntington for a number of years, and now she's over at Sands doing amazing work. And so that was like the start. And I thought, all right, that's so nice. I got one award. Then my church nominee gave me an award for being a change maker during Black History Month. And then a couple months passed. I'm just raising the baby, going back to traveling again with my family. And then I got Long Island Business News 40 Under 40 and Schnepp's Media Power Women's List. I made the Power Women's List for 2024. So it was really nice. But what's even nicer is that this year I've been able to pay it forward. So I've been able to nominate some amazing people for these awards and in our community and be a part of honoring them. And so it wasn't just about me. It was a tool to empower others and let them know, beautiful. Hey, your work is noticed. Don't stop. Keep going. Right.
That's beautiful. I like the way you said that. Right. It was perfect. I love that. You very impressive.
Thank you.
You have a lot of energy, clearly, a lot of energy. You have a lot of stick-to-itiveness, a lot of follow-through, and you've now built a business, which is something you probably didn't plan on doing. That probably wasn't on your career.
No, not
right?
Really. No.
Not really, right. So with that said, is there, in the business itself, we spend a lot of time talking about your journey, which is so impressive. The fact that you got into business, the style of your business, the way you run the business, and all things you've accomplished. We've discussed how people get to you as far as why they would use you. Mm-hmm. Do you have any examples? I find people, the best part, I guess, the people understand most when you give them examples. A heartwarming story, were you able to help somebody, or a story where you're able to get a lot of positive impact on someone's life with what you do, with how someone's life changed as a result?
I think, oh man, you know what? There's so many stories because you in this business, you're kind of living the story every day. I mean, this story might be a little sad, but I think it kind of speaks volumes. So I had a client that wanted to get on the waiver program for her mother, and her mother was very ill. She was a lot older. I want to say like between 94 to 96. And towards the end, like just before she's about to get on the waiver, she gets very ill. She does make it home, in time to be on the waiver. I don't even think she was on the program for a month. And then she passed away from her illness. And that was tough. And literally, I didn't hear from the family. I sent them flowers. I would follow up. I'd call, the daughter's grieving. They were super close. There was a lot going on. Like, I think that year, like her house had went on fire and they were living in they were just having like a way to go. And I want to say she passed away at the end of January. Maybe a couple weeks ago, I get a delivery of cookies. Like this beautiful like cookie bouquet. It was gorgeous. And it was from them. You know, she didn't, even though like she didn't say anything and she kind of went MIA, and I understand when people grieve, they grieve how they grieve.
Yes.
You know, we did everything on our end to close that door, but she's still grieving. However she grieves. But the cookies was like the acknowledgement. Thank you for being there for me.
Right.
And that meant so much. It was small, and of course, it tasted well.
It's really good.
But it was just like, wow, you didn't have to acknowledge us, but you did. You thought it not robbery to do that, and it was just so kind. And like different agencies, when they're dealing with like a difficult client, you don't even think like they notice, and the next thing you know, they're sending you an edible arrangement, or you know, they're just like sending like just you'll get an email with just so many beautiful words. Thank you for your thoughtfulness. Thank you for your kindness. I don't think people realize how much gratitude means. It's like a fuel that just keeps you going. So those little instances of gratitude have really just kept us going. They mean so much. There's clients that like they'll make a meal for the service coordinators. Yeah. You know, they might go away and bring back a magnet. It's just those little things, or like notice their new haircut, and they just be like, oh wow, you noticed me, you appreciated me. Yeah. That's so kind. So it's those little things that go along way.
They do. I just wrote an email to someone. I'd met someone, I hope to be a client, someone I saw his home Saturday. I went to see the home. The family's all out of town. They moved out to a nursing home after a stroke. And the house needs a ton of clean out. It's old. Mm-hmm. It's not falling down, but it's old. It needs 100% of everything. So I'm the kind of people they call in to buy the house. But there are three siblings. The one sibling wants to sell it retail, but he wants to fix everything. But the other two siblings don't live close, and they have lives, and they don't want to do this. They just want to sell it. So the sibling who wants to sell it called me, and I came in, and I met, and I spoke to the three of them. I made them an offer, which two of them thought was very good. Mm-hmm. The third one says we can do better. They can, but not without the effort. Mm-hmm. And I sent them a new proposal after the meeting, and I said, I hope we can do business together, but if not, feel free to call me. I'm happy to assist you in any way. And he wrote back thanking me very much for the proposal and the offer. And I said to him, repeated something I had said in his house. So I make my living buying and selling houses by getting my personal satisfaction out of helping people. Mm-hmm. And at 66 years old, I don't need to work for the money anymore. I shouldn't have to work for the money at 60s. Right. I should be allowed to retire. I don't want to. I never will, God willing. But with that said, it's satisfaction that drives me. And it's the cookies that drive you. Yeah. It's the people, these little things mean so much to people like you and me. So much more important than anything else they can do.
That's so true. And I like donuts too, y'all.
A favorite kind?
No, I just like them all.
I was raised with. I was always got the chocolate rays from Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh man, delicious.
But then you start to see the calorie count, and I stopped eating donuts. They have to stop putting the calorie count stuff out there.
Oh man, we were just talking about that the other night.
It doesn't help any. It does not help. I'm going to eat it anyway. Normally, now I'm upset. But if I just ate it without being upset,
right?
But the. It's very interesting. Your journey is, in my opinion, remarkable.
Thank you.
And you're a young person, well, relatively speaking to me. Kids probably think you're old, but
yeah, definitely.
Right?
I'm old to them.
Who's gotten so far and done so much. You've gotten all these accolades. You have a business. You have employees. You're doing well. Kids in school. Very impressive degree she's going for. I mean, I can't think of things much harder than that. I used to be a shop teacher. You know, that and gym teacher, pretty much the easiest things you can do. Sorry, shop teachers and gym teachers, but it's true. But but with that said, so if there's one important thing you want people to understand from having a really enjoyable conversation, what would the one important thing be for a person who may need your services? What would you think?
I think the key takeaway that I want people to walk away with when they encounter us is that you're not alone.
Mm-hmm. I get that a lot.
Yeah,
a lot.
Because they're legit terrified. Like everything is scary. It's a new world. The connotation of it can be dark for many people. Yeah. And you have to have a deep sense of empathy to understand that. And you have to understand that, you know, grief and loss isn't necessarily just about death or a relationship ending. Sometimes it's about an ability ending or massive changes that a person just did not expect that seem to happen overnight or even gradually. And now they're really hitting you in the face. But if you have that empathy, you are able to truly convey to someone that they're not alone, that you're here to help. And even if they don't necessarily want to work with you, there's still so many other people that are available to help. And I'll hand you over to them. Right. I have no problem doing that. I'm happy to do it because it's just better that the clients are with someone that they feel comfortable, they feel at ease with, they're getting what they need done, and they can go on living their lives and having the best time that they possibly can, and knowing that there's people there for them that care for them and want to see them do well.
Yep. That's perfect. It's perfect that they're not alone, which it going through this takes a lot. Mm-hmm. And the other, I want to sort of refine your takeaway as well. There's kind of two of them. One is you're not alone. And the other one is there's a lot of pencil pushing in what you do. Mm-hmm. But the pencil pushing is what pays the bills. Mm-hmm. But it's the empathy that sets you apart from others.
Yes.
And I'm sure in your staff you have pencil pushers. You have to.
I'm the pencil pusher.
You're the pencil pusher?
Yeah, I'm the pencil pusher.
I wouldn't have anticipated that.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, there you go. Oh, my God. You and I would be good partners because I don't push any pencils.
I'm the computer girl. I'm the tech savvy one. I know every app, like, you know, that's so me. They don't have to focus on that. They can be the love, the light. All they have to do is their notes, but I push the pencils. They can be the love, the light. They can be the researcher. They can focus on the people. I'll type it up.
There you go. It's so funny. My son lived in Manhattan for a number of years with his girlfriend, and his girlfriend then went to grad school at NYU. And until then, they didn't have a pencil or a piece of paper in the apartment.
Well, yeah.
He says they never write anything
Not
down.
Anymore.
And then they write nothing. But when she went to school, then she suddenly had to start printing things. And so they had to get a printer, and they didn't have paper. And how do you function like that? I don't know. I have paper right here. So it's very funny. So yes, you're the tech person. So you're the person I don't relate to on that point. But with that said, I have to say it was truly enjoyable getting to know you. So question, how do other people get to know you? How do people reach out to you?
So I think the easiest way to find me, honestly, is through our website. It's www.yhpcares.com. Again, it's www.yhpcares.com. My email's there, phone number's there.
Perfect.
You just tap the submit link. You can send me an email as lengthy as you want, and I'll get it right away.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It was a real pleasure having you today.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Larry.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Unlocking Senior Resources podcast by Leave the Key. If you've enjoyed this episode or found it helpful, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast. We specialize in working with seniors who are transitioning out of their homes, and we understand what you are going through. So if you are considering selling your home and would like an alternative to the traditional overwhelming process, reach out to see how we can help. When working with us, you can sell your home in its current condition, there is no need to remove unwanted items, and you control when the house is sold, along with so many other advantages. Visit leavethekey.com or call us at 631-388-7771 to learn more about our senior home buying process.